led. So we got Dalman, obviously, with the ankle, and we got Caleb with the knee. We'll get some more status on those guys as we move forward longer into this week. Didn't get the result we wanted last night, and Led, I appreciate you for not getting me fined. And you doing a tough job with the officials and all that stuff, buddy.
Yeah, my frat brothers were texting me.
Frat brothers.
They said, leave your money alone. Leave your coach's money alone. But yeah, that's the process when we have a
No, I know.
call. Oh, we gotta.
Yep.
Fans gonna think the refs are gonna say, "Oh yeah, we got to do that." So, yeah, I understood your position too.
Is there any follow-up process that you guys go through just to make yourselves feel better on a Monday? Do you go back to the league and say, explain?
I don't know if it makes you feel any better,
Right.
but
I mean, I know you're not going to get any resolution out of it, but is there a process?
yeah, there's definitely a process that we have. Obviously you got to wait 24 hours. Is the cooling off period that we call it. You could send in the plays, and then you'll get some answers from all the guys up at the office, Perry Field, and some of those different guys that are able to give you some clarity and some answers for whatever they did wrong. Usually people are accountable in all facets. So we never have an issue with that. And for me, it's just I don't know if it makes you feel any better, but it's just allowing it to get out there so we can all make our correction that we need to make moving forward. And I know the league cares about that. They don't want those mistakes to be had that people don't like anyway. So they do the right thing with that stuff.
So you will occasionally get an oops, sorry, we missed that.
You can't really talk about or comment on those things, but the league is
Obviously this call specifically.
the league definitely they'll be in contact with you and fill you in whatever they need to fill you in.
Now, McGarry's knee and Dahlman's ankle. You just going day to day with them, or is it time?
I'll know more. More after today, and get a better feel, particularly going into your practices, and we'll get a real feel for that. But Newsel and Storm came out there and executed well for us. Finished the game.
Coach, on the final drive, the 3rd and 1 and the 4th and 1.
Yes.
I'm curious here, just your mentality. I got some numbers. From 1998 to 2015, there were over 3,100 4th and 1 quarterback sneaks called.
Yes.
They converted nearly 83% of the time. When they don't do that, it drops down to the low 60s. From 2017 through last season, it goes up to 86% on 4th and 1 on a quarterback sneak, 3rd or 4th and 1 on a quarterback sneak. All the plays convert at 69%. Was that never a consideration?
It was. It was talked about last night. But, people play sneak defenses now. That tush-push sneak, the one you push people over the line, that's kind of really up those numbers even a little bit more. Defenses right now are sneak ready and more conscious of all, and it definitely was part of the discussion last night on the sneaks and things of that nature. I feel really good with our two backs on getting first downs and picking up a half a yard. Just unfortunately last night didn't work.
Is Kirk's Achilles any factor in not calling it?
I wouldn't say that's a factor. I don't know if Kurt's one of the more mobile guys when you talk about anything, when you talk about moving, regardless of Achilles, like Jalen Hurts, Tom Brady was one of the best sneakers of all time, and he's probably more similar to the Kirk status when you talk about some of those things when it comes to the sneak and finding those holes and really having a real feel for the nuance of doing it. Patrick Mahomes got hurt on one a couple years ago. You remember? I think that was a preseason game. I'm not even sure, but it's definitely one of those things where I just felt more comfortable giving it to our backs. That's our best players on our football team, two of our better players, two of our guys that we shouldn't be having this discussion after that first, duo run, what we called it, Tyler, and we'd like to get that blocked a little bit better. And then the second one, we want to identify those things, a little bit better than we did and get the play done. No excuses, but sneak was definitely a consideration, and we chose the latter. And then obviously today we can always second guess those decisions when you don't get them.
If Drew is healthy, does that change the thought process?
There is so many different factors when it comes to that, but you're 100% on it, You're starting center, you're starting quarterback. One's not mobile, is not the guy to do it with. I'm not sure if we've ever executed a sneak situation with Drew and Newsel. So you give it to your backs, man. You make that decision that way. And we made it, and it was wrong one. Obviously, clearly we didn't get it. So, we make no excuses for that. But that's just the stuff you got to deal with when you're me.
It's not even talking about last night specifically, but in those short yardage situations, are there checks that can be made? Like when
Yes.
in the line of scrimmage, do you have multiple options available at Kirk's disposal maybe?
Every week's different, but yes, when you go into situations, you get the look from the defense and you get premier looks that you want to run into, and certain plays you want to run those looks into. And like I mentioned, people are more sneak conscious than ever. Started in the league a couple years ago, I think. You get up there, have more cans in that situation. Traditionally, when we grew up, it was power, and you ran power, and you ran it right down the middle, A-gap out. And now you get the premier licks that you want, and you run sneaks if you get the look, and if you don't get the look, you check out of it. You run sweeps, and you run off-tackle plays, and whatever the case may be. So there's different checks as you got into that stuff, different cans, different checks and balances that you go through the process with, yes.
Just out of curiosity, does Zach make that decision? You guys have a conversation in between the play, just the process of it? I mean, is it corroborative in that sense, or is it?
In that particular situation, it was very collaborative. That was a lot of time. That was us looking at keeping him off the field, that guy. That was us thinking we can get this first down with the plays that we had designed throughout the week within our short yardage plan. Obviously it didn't work, but that was not a self-made decision by anybody, by any means.
Looking over to the defensive side of the ball, I believe at one point the Chiefs were 5 of 6 on third down, and
Yes.
they were 1 of 8 after that.
Yes.
Were there any adjustments that were made to make that happen, or just kind of the play of the group as a whole?
Play picked up. We made some of the third downs a little bit longer, which always helps. We're able to get after the passer a little bit better without the sacks. You're still able to hit him 8 times. I think we got hit 10 times. I think he got hit 8. I think they got 2 sacks. We had a wrap up and a grounding. But it's like we were able to create some pressure and we were able to get them to longer situations. We stepped up and played a little bit better on defense in the second half without tackling, which is really critical. Early on, they threw a couple of screens out there and RPOs, things of that nature, got a lot of yards, and it makes it 2nd and 1. A couple of situations got into 3rd and short and 3rd and 3 in that window, 3rd and less. That's a tough life to live when you're playing Patrick Mahomes. And we got a little bit longer. We were able to get off the grass and really just put ourselves in position to win the game. And I was proud of the fact they were able to do that. Now, that was a big difference. When they were 46%, I believe, on third down. I can't remember exactly. But we got to do a better job of getting third downs on offense, and we got to do a better job of stopping getting off the grass on defense. I think Torrey asked the question last night, but that is the whole thing. I mean, that's like life, right? That's time of possession. That's scoring points. That's being a difference maker in a half-a-yard game. That's huge, Will.
Obviously, you weren't here last year, and a lot of the folks weren't here last year, but will you reach back to that Saints game at the end of last year in anything you address this team with for this year?
I don't go with motivation that I wasn't a part of.
Okay.
If you need any more motivation than playing against a division rival for the South, that you got the pen in your hand to be able to write your own story, and you're probably in the wrong building anyway. So, there's no secret about the Saints, the Bucks, and Carolina, particularly this week. The team that you focus on is better be the Saints, and you got to find a way to go out there and beat a really competitive, well-coached team at our place.
The fact that this is a Kubiak and the Shanahan system, does that save you any time this week? At least you come into
You bet not.
with kind of know what you're getting.
You better trust your process, Josh. You better go through it. You better have the ability to go line up, watch those guys, go through your process throughout the time, and take all the time you need to get ready to play these guys, or they'll embarrass you. Like, this league is a humbling league, as we see every single week, man. It changes for everybody. So, it's like you better go out there and be ready to play every single week and prepare every single week.
It obviously works, for them in this way as well, but having a common opponent like Philadelphia this early in the season to be able to kind of look at on film when you're preparing, how beneficial is that?
It's always good when you have some common opponents and some commonalities that you can go put up there just for your viewing purposes, for your cut-ups and all those type of things. But, you got to go get your preparation done. You got to go put it into work. You got to go look at it. You got to go do all the stuff that you got to have. It's definitely beneficial, especially the more games you get, the longer we get into the season, the more the chess match becomes the chess match. So we're fired up to just embrace that challenge.
Philosophically, I understand the third down conversion rate, which is not great right now, along with time possession. They're sort of correlated to each other. But
Yeah, no doubt.
there are teams, Minnesota and Buffalo, who are scoring, and they're in the bottom of the league in time possession.
Yeah.
Does one get prioritized over the other? I mean, obviously, if you're scoring, you don't really care how long you hold on to the football.
You don't.
You know, it's easier to score when you have the football longer.
You know, when you're talking about that situation, you're talking about different factors, right? Minnesota's playing a style of defense where they're getting the ball back a little bit more. They're doing some different things there, and they're able to score points, and like they're getting more chunk yardage plays or whatever the case may be, and you got to find a way to get those things. So it's all kind of stats you can throw up maybe to be helpful. You know, there is no one way to do it. There's no, you know, definitely one way to go about your business, but you definitely know what you want to improve, right? You want to go out there and improve your third down conversion rate so that it will allow you to keep the ball a little bit longer, to play a little bit of the soccer game that we are capable of playing, particularly if we get our run game going, and we can make it look like it did a week ago when you can rush for the 150 type yardage as opposed to the 80s where you can stay on the grass and really be able to dictate terms on how you want to play football.
Do they, I'm sure your offensive guys might, will they go look at the 27 other plays and see if there's a pattern or see if it's, you know, things.
27 which plays, I mean?
Third down.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, we always do that. That's called, you know, your self-scout. That's a weekly process. You keep up that now a little bit more frequently than we used to. Like, you used to have to wait to bye weeks to do that stuff, but now you get all the analytical people and all the stuff that you have. You can get that stuff right away. That's done pretty quickly.
Did you try to find a pattern or something jumps out or?
You do try to find out something jumping out. You know, you try to, whether it's in protection, whether it's in the route concepts, whether it's in, you know, whatever the case may be, decision making, whatever the cases are there. You know, just you find out all those things, you find out all those holes, and you're able to make corrections and make decisions.
All things considered, they did a great job last night of limiting explosive plays from an offense that traditionally has been pretty explosive. The Saints, through at least the first 2 weeks, you know, that's a pretty explosive play.
Yes.
You focus on that particular part of the defensive game plan.
You know, again, like last night, and those guys yesterday presented a different challenge, right? They had a quarterback that creates the first play and has a second play within it. He's able to move around and find guys on the field, so you really focused on what we call plaster, what we call staying attached to your man a little bit longer. Don't look back and see if he got the ball. Just assume he does until he throws it to your guy and actually knows a 60-yard touchdown, right? So these guys, I'm sure, present a different type of way of causing explosives, and that's what we got to take the week and go find out what it is and give our guys what it takes to go out there and defeat these guys and go out there and play. Every week's a little different, you know.
Anything else?
I got something.
Yeah, Josh.
Has the extension of field goal range changed the way?
It is absolutely unbelievable, Josh. Absolutely. That is a great one right there. Like, these kickers are unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. You feel like as soon as they get the ball in field goal range, you know, you got to think about too, Josh. You know, if you get a touchback now, you start at the 30, you get one first down, man. These guys are in field goal range, essentially. So it's like it's definitely a little bit different. You know, field goal range or 4-down territory. You know, like I think we've almost eliminated the punt.
Right.
You know, but it definitely creates a different style of strategy and different chess match.
What's your guys' range, you think? What would you be comfortable sending Youngway out there?
You know, it's
standard game situation.
That's what I mean. It's different in every stadium, and like I'm not going to give him a set deal because like that's a kind of a daily and a rhythm and a routine. But I'm really comfortable with Youngway going. I think he made a 54-yarder yesterday, and he made it. And if you look at it, it's probably good from maybe 65. I hope 65, but you know, like that's definitely been challenging, man. This thing is sick now. These guys got big time legs, man.
Sticking with special teams real quick, what has been your evaluation of the kickoff change in the past 3 weeks?
It's been interesting, you know, like it's been fun to watch some guys go out there and cover. Like our first kickoff yesterday was a lot of fun to go watch and cover it and watch Hamilton, you know, watch D'Lo, watch some of those guys go down there and cover. Red, you know, went out there, Red go out there and cover. Those guys did a nice job of really going out there and working through some things and making some big time tackles, but they've been fun to watch. For the most part, they're making some of the decisions to kick it in. You know, some of the decisions try to take advantage of it, try to pin them back behind that 30, try to make them go the long way. And Patrick is definitely one of those guys you want to be able to do that to. That's why the stress on our coverage teams was was at a high level yesterday, especially with Mecole Hardman back there. That's a big-time returner that he's been. So I was fired up by what our teams did yesterday, and those chess match type plays will be decided on every week.
Have you given Marquise like full go with creativity for that?
Marquise is going to take full go with creativity. He's a really good communicator, and he'll come down to the office and do a great job of discussing his plan and his thought process behind everything that we do. And like he does a really good job of that. He's one of the best I've been around.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you,
sir.
Raheem.